Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are going to talk about the ICE Golem, and we are on the free-to-play account. So obviously my series has been going about and I was showing my progress on my free-to-play account, but at the same time the way that I'm doing the videos, in case there's people that are watching this that already know about the game, is I'm trying to make it as, you know, as Raid 101 for people that have never played this account, because I have lots of times people they join my stream and they were like, okay, how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I beat this this dungeon, how do I gear up my champions, and all stuff, all things like that. So because today we have the ICE Golem tournament going on and I've had a little bit of a progress with the champions that I have, I decided to make, as the thumbnail says, ICE Golem 101 video. So basically what's the deal with the ICE Golem? Let me just get into the stage 13, which is one of the good ones to fight, and once I get to the boss part, we're gonna have a little look through its kit, and I will explain basically what is the best way to tackle this boss and how to beat it. This is one, honestly, I'm starting in a funny way. I'm starting with the most RNG one, honestly, because his mechanics are a little bit interesting. So he has two adds. Let me move myself a little bit here on this side. Okay, perfect. So this ad over here on the left hand side, he hits once and he puts up heal reduction if you do not have resistance to resist it. What does heal reduction do is basically, if the champion has heal reduction, if you heal them, basically the heal does not work. It's 100% heal reduction. So unless the champion passes the 2-3 turns that the heal reduction is placed on for, you will not be able to heal them. The ad on the right does an AoE decrease defense for 3 turns on everybody. He doesn't hit, he just puts AoE decrease defense, and obviously that does not help because that lowers our survivability. Unless we bring the buff called block debuffs, we will have to again run through our turns to get that down. The only problem are not the ads. The ads bring some stuff that make it more complicated, but the biggest problem is the boss himself. On his A1 he just does an AoE, attacks all enemies, but if we have the decreased defense on ourselves, obviously we're gonna take a bigger hit. His A2, he attacks on enemies, then places a 50% decreased accuracy for 2 turns. That's the first thing that he starts with. Again, another hit, nothing too crazy about that, but the problem is all in his passive, in this one. Attacks all enemies one time whenever Clysus, which is the boss, Clysus' HP drops below 80%, 60%, 45%, 30%, and 15%. This attack will revive any dead allies to 100% HP. So if we kill the ads on the sides and he drops below the thresholds mentioned there, he will revive both of his ads or whichever ad is dead. This attack will ignore 50% of each enemy's defense for each ally alive. So basically, if we proc this, if you proc this counter attack, let's call it a counter attack, while one of the ads is up, he ignores 50% of the defense. If we proc that while both of them are up, he ignores 100% of the defense, which means most of the time that you're gonna get killed. That's why this one's so RNG, because you can just randomly proc, especially if you bring people, for example, like an apothecary or like cold hearts, people that have random attacks that you cannot, kind of focus, because on auto it attacks and it can spread, the attack can spread whatever, and if you can proc him with War Master or Giant Slayer Mastery. So that's why I call this boss the most RNG one. Also here he has this attack also has a 20% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. The chances of placing a freeze debuff increases by 40% for each ally alive. Again, if he procs this when only one is alive, there's a 60% chance we're frozen. If he procs when 2, both of the ads are up, he ignores all of our defense and he freezes us. So that's why he can be really tricky. One really good thing about this passive is like this one can be ignored if he drops below that threshold by using poisons. So if he gets a turn and poisons take his HP below 80, 60, 45%, he will not proc this passive. It's not mentioned over here, but that's something to keep in mind. Another thing that can be used and is extremely useful against this boss is, because this one says here, where was it again? This attack will revive any dead ally. So basically it revives them. It doesn't spawn them like on Spider. On Spider, the spiderlings are spawned. Here they are revived. So another good tactic to tackle this boss is to bring somebody that does block revive. I don't have such a champion in my roster yet, but I can give you some examples. So let me just place it back on auto and have this one go full auto to see how this one actually works. See, the heal reduction for 3 turns is up there. Then if he gets a turn, he didn't get a turn, he would have done the AoE decrease defense. I tried to place the the poisons with Frozen Banshee, but because she has decreased accuracy on, obviously she didn't land it. Her accuracy was not good enough to place it on this boss. See, he did a retribution and he attacked us. If you noticed, he did it twice. You know why he did it twice? Because he went through this threshold. He went down through 2 of them, so he dropped under 60% and under 45%. That can be really tricky, because if he does that twice, guess what? First time he revives them, and the second time he attacks and ignores 100% of the defense, and also presses freeze. The only thing we can avoid that mechanic is, as we are lucky here, is if he weak hits or we resist it, which is kind of low chance, because there's rarely a time when you try to build resist on your champion. See? Frozen, but he got weak hit. Apothecary got weak hit, so we survived. However, it's really tricky and it's really RNG, because like I said, if you get those hits from him several times, we can die. So the higher the level you're fighting, the more difficult it becomes, and it's really tricky, and you're trying to bring, you know, you're trying to bring as good champions in your team as you can, and the options that you can bring, like I said, are poisoners. You can bring something that's gonna be really useful is Reviver. So if you have a Reviver, you would build him really tanky and just bring him in here to survive the hits, and you could always just get them to revive your champions. This is one of the few runs that, unless you have the perfect team and the perfect champions, it's never gonna be speed run, you do it in a minute, 2 minutes. No, this might be a team that if you want it to be 100% consistent, which is really important because you do not want to lose energy, you bring a team that, even though it's slow, it's reliable. So bring a team that's slow, that has revivers, that has poisoners, and it's gonna work. One more thing that's extremely good for this champion, for when he procs this, is if you have somebody that places decreased attack. So if you bring a decreased attack champion in here, when he does his damages and his crazy procs like this, he basically does half of the damage. So that's the best way to be this champion. Look at this, 6-star flat attack. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna keep it, even though it's 6-star epic. Let me show you some examples of champions that do block revive that I have talked about, that are pretty accessible. So one of them is Armiger. Armiger does it on his A2. He's a really good champion because he's also used for his A1 that does turn meter control. So this one can smack pretty hard, and his damage scales on enemy max HP. So basically, the more max HP the champion has, the more damage he will do on his A2. For early on, it's kind of tricky, and at the same time, this is kind of RNG, because he has to be the last one that hits the champion to block revive them. You have some other options that are like, there's one in the Bannerlord that's a rare that does that, Conqueror. Conqueror does the same thing on his A3. After it's booked, it's on a 3-turn cooldown. Again, attacks one enemy. Enemy skill by the skill cannot be revived. Then you have an epic in Phoenix. Phoenix does it on his A1. He's like one of the best options and easiest to get because he's an epic. You have what else? You have a legendary, but obviously the Void legendary. He needs to be Blood Twin because every time he kills somebody with this skill, he block revives them. And there's also some other endgame champions, but like I said, that's one of the tricky things that are not so easy. So your best option would be to bring people that do AoE decreased attack. There's several of them. There's like in the orcs you have Duke the Pierced, AoE decreased defense and decreased attack. You have in the Banner Lords, you have Stag Knight, does the same thing. AoE decreased defense, AoE decreased attack. This champion is really good overall. If you have a Stag Knight, definitely maxed. Because he also brings decreased speed, he's good for Fire Knight, for Spider, for everywhere. So basically, at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. When you're fighting the ice golem, even if it's gonna be slow, try to bring survivability, tankiness, revives, block revives, decrease attack, whatever you have. Make a combination of the things that I've just explained, and that should assure you that you're gonna beat the ice golem and you're not gonna die too often. If you're early game like the way that I am, for example, I tried to do 14. And I died. As soon as I saw that I died, I stopped because I do not want to waste energy. At the same time, please bear in mind, Ice Golem is not a dungeon you want to farm early game. This is a dungeon that's worth farming once you get to late or end game. Yes, you want to farm it maybe for the for the events that go on. For example, now we have an Ice Golem tournament and you want to get the rewards from there, then yeah, you're gonna farm it a little bit just to get, you know, the milestones. Or if you see that people are not doing it in your group, for example, you can get gems, silver, brews, and a book. Getting books, it's a really good thing. If you look at the group, this one just started not long ago, but if nobody's gonna do it, I will try to get the first or second place to get an ancient shard and the relentless gear, because after I get past level 50, that's gonna be hard. After I get past level 50, I'm gonna be put in the pool with everybody else. So I could be in a group with somebody that's level 100 and it's just gonna destroy me. So yeah, I think I've covered enough of this. Oh yeah, last thing that I want to mention is, again, if you see that you get to a stage where it's too difficult for you, do not fight that stage. If you see it's not reliable enough, just go to the previous stages. The best milestones you want to get for your dungeons are as follows. First one is stage level 10, because you start to get 4 and 5 star gear only. Next milestone is stage 13, you start getting the 6 star gear. The next milestone is stage 16, because from stage 16 you only get gear. Up until stage 16 you can get 1 brew and mystery shards, which is obviously not why you're farming dungeons. Next milestone is going to be obviously 20, when you only get 5 and 6 star. And after that we're talking about different stuff. But yeah, milestones are stage 10, then 13, then 16, then 20. These are the ones that you're trying. If you can farm those reliably, just farm on those certain stages. If not, stay to the lowest one of these milestones that you can farm. But I guess this will be it for today, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope this helped you out. I hope this helps like the newer people, like I said, because I called it Ice Golem Basics, because this is designated towards newer people that, you know, do not know much about this game, are trying to progress. And yeah, I hope everybody else enjoyed it, because I don't know, maybe there's some things that even players that know the game didn't know that are good ways to tackle and to beat the Ice Golem. So I hope it helps as many people out there as possible. But this will be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye.